Hey everybody, this is your boy TY checking in of Stone Muscle, and I just want to say I hope everybody was okay during the week or the last 5 days that I took off. Just basically getting myself situated. Got to stop the ums. Just getting myself situated and walking miles. Just trying to get back into the fitness thing again. I actually never left the fitness thing. It's always in me. I've been lifting weights for years since I was 14, 13 years old when my mom and dad brought me a weightlifting set, and I put it into my backyard of the house that we owned on North Street in Ambler. And I took to the weights really quick. It was something that was probably something that I was destined to do because I wound up being the strongest on the block, and I was the littlest on the block. So when it came to benching and it came to curling, I was just 50, 60, 70 pounds ahead of everybody. Just like I said, it was just probably something that's made for me. But we're not going to talk about that. I basically just ran into that because of the fitness thing. I'll be talking about that soon. Like I said, this channel is going to be about staying fit, eating good, drinking plenty of water, drinking a lot of water actually, and keeping your mind focused on the prize. Because when you work out, it's not an easy thing. When you go to the gym every day and put in that hour and a half, 45 minutes, whatever, it's not easy. You got to have a certain discipline. But let me talk about the juvenile delinquent part four. Part four is going to be about me going to getting incarcerated into not a juvenile facility that was for really young adults, but this facility was for adults that probably took their crimes to the next level, and that was Glen Mills Schools. Glen Mills Schools was located in Concordville, PA. It was maybe about 10 miles from Cheney University and maybe about 15 miles from Westchester University. When I went to Glen Mills, I was sent there because I had got caught smoking in the bathroom, in the school bathroom. I got kicked out of my high school because of skipping school and not taking school seriously. And then I eventually went to a school that was an alternative school. They got tired of me. I got caught smoking in the bathroom. Like I said, all my crimes or things that I've done wrong to put myself in certain situations were never about harming anybody or just committing these real heinous crimes that these guys in Glen Mills were in there for. I'm not going to put myself on a pedestal like I was better than them because I didn't commit crimes that were as devious and as bad as their crimes. Like I said, I was always a bad kid. I've always had in me to just not listen to what I was being told. And that's what led me to being in Glen Mills. Just skipping school, smoking in the bathroom, just hanging with the wrong people, hanging with the wrong crowd. And like I said, your parents always know, especially your mom, is going to know when the person you are hanging with is not going to have your best interest at heart. As a matter of fact, the guy that I hung around, or the young man that I hung around at the time, he's now dead. And he didn't die from a gunshot wound or being stabbed. He was actually in the boxing ring in the state penitentiary, and died from getting hit really, really hard. And I guess he was bleeding on the brain, and that's what caused him to pass away. Glen Mills Schools was, I gotta be honest, it saved my life. Glen Mills Schools saved my life because when I went to Glen Mills, it was April 1st of 1986, April Fool's Day of 1986. And I remember being in there the night that I got there. Matter of fact, let me take it to the beginning. I had a probation officer, a female probation officer, who at the time recommended that I go to a house that wasn't as as locked down as Glen Mills was. This was a house that was located in the Montgomery County section of Pennsylvania, and she recommended that I go there. But I had seen one of my friends who was a big burly dude and, could fight real good. And I don't think he was a real good athlete, but he was just always known as being a guy who also didn't listen probably to what his mom or dad was telling him to do. And one day I seen him come home, and he had a sweatsuit on. He had a Glen Mills sweatsuit on. And I was like, these guys are getting sweatsuits and jackets and class rings. I was like, but my probation officer recommended that I go to a location or a resident, like I said, that wasn't as bad as Glen Mills was, because Glen Mills was bad. Glen Mills, I'm going to go into the story. Glen Mills was bad, but I kept on suggesting to her that don't send me to this little halfway house that's not too far from my actual house. Send me away. Send me to Glen Mills. Send me to Glen Mills. And she just kept looking at me like, why would you want to go there? Like, you don't even you the she was looking at me like the crimes that I was doing, or if you call skipping school and smoking the cigarettes and stuff like that crimes, then she was looking at me like you're not doing anything to the point to where as though you need to go to Glen Mills. Glen Mills is for places that guys your age, 16, 17, 18 years old, are doing things far worse than you. And I suggested that she send me there. And when I got there, I was not scared. I was not scared. I was not um, um, I was not angry that I made myself or talked her into sending me there because they had a football program, they had a track program, baseball, soccer, you name it. They had athletic sports there that were always in the top one, two, three, four, five in Pennsylvania at the time because Glen Mills sanctioned themselves to where as though they were playing schools that were like Penridge, Chester, Chichester, Pengrove, or no, I'm sorry, Malvern Prep, and the like. When I got there, I was, like I said, I was always an athlete, and I always considered myself a good athlete, not a great athlete, a good athlete, and kind of fit right in with the guys that were lifting weights and stuff like that. So, 1986, Montgomery County, like I said, was a stone throw away from Philadelphia. It took us maybe about 20 minutes to get to Philadelphia. So in 1986 is when drugs such as cocaine was very, very popular in neighborhoods and cities all across Pennsylvania, probably all across America. And the reason I say it saved my life, because had it not for me being there in 1986, I was the type of kid who got high off of anything. I would smoke marijuana, which I don't smoke anymore. It's been 3 weeks clean. I've been 3 weeks clean from smoking marijuana or CBD. And I recommend anybody who smokes marijuana to put it down. And just because it's being legalized across America doesn't mean that you have to pick it up and partake in that certain thing. It's just it held me back. Like I said, I looked forward to smoking more than I looked forward to having a good time, living my life, going out, hanging with some buddies. Marijuana was that for me. But if it had not been for Glen Mills and had not been for me being locked up in Glen Mills at that time, I would have been doing the same things on the streets that my friends were doing. And what I mean by that is when I came home on a home pass from Glen Mills, I was shocked to find that my friends who I, I had just left 60 to 70 days ago went from marijuana and a little bit of beer to cocaine. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we weren't even 18 years old. And I went to the house and I went to Glen Mills at 135 pounds. And in 60 to 90 days, came home 178 pounds full of muscle. But this isn't about me. And I'm not going to keep on going in the stories about glorifying myself and stuff to make it seem like I could have overcame the badness that was going on in the streets because I wanted to be in the streets. I just loved lifting weights and I loved being in shape. And that's why I came home 180 pounds as a 17-year-old. And everybody seen me when I came home and just liked the fact that, that I was able to throw on that type of weight. Being locked away at 17 years old, away from your family, away from your friends, 100 miles, 60 miles away from home isn't an easy thing. It's not easy at all. It um, it makes you it eventually gives you the kind of attitude that you can do this. You're a tough guy. You can put up with whatever circumstances that come your way, as far as whatever you have to deal with if guys don't like you in that place. And there was rapes going on in there. There was fights going on in there. I've never gotten to any of that. I mean, nothing like that ever happened to me. Nobody ever tried me in a way to where as though they thought that they could take something from me, or if they did, if I can remember, they didn't get too far because I just wasn't into that. That just wasn't my thing. I think I woke up when some guy was tapping me on my bed like 2, 3 in the morning, and I looked at him like he was crazy. Like, you know, just because I talk proper, or just because I talk like, as they would say, like a white kid, doesn't mean that I'm down with anything like that. That just wasn't, like I said, I never was into that. I've always loved women. I always loved females. And I'm here to say that I'm not talking down on anybody for their sexual orientation or preference. Whatever you want to do in life, whatever uh, uh, what makes you happy, or whatever you think that you want to be involved in, instead of being involved with the opposite sex, that's just, that's fine. I'm not knocking anybody for that. And a couple of times I think I got into a fight situation. Wasn't really a fight, but because I think I threw a punch and knocked the guy down, and we were supposed to continue it on once we got to Philadelphia at 69th Street substation to where you parted. And I guess the young man didn't want any parts of that because, fighting was something that we always did in our hometown. And a lot of us in our hometown could hold their own. No, like I said, no tough guy stuff. We could just hold our own. And so the situation that I want to talk about with Glenn Mills, and I'm looking at the time on the clock and see that I'm approaching 20 minutes. And to be totally honest with you, I can go on for hours. I just don't even see that time is just passing by like that, especially when I'm talking about something that I think is important to the young men and young women out there who think that being bad and being tough is something that you have to prove to other people. You don't. You know what you should prove to other people? That you go to school every day, that you do your homework, you listen to your mother and father, or your grandmother, or your aunt and uncles who have been down the same road and are trying to prevent you from doing what they did, and hope that you don't go down that path. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you that don't be that tough guy. Don't be that bad kid who skipped school. Don't be that kid who's caught in the bathroom smoking marijuana, smoking cigarettes, when you know good and well that you shouldn't be doing that. The fighting, the arguing, the just making a situation uncomfortable, and giving yourself a name that you don't take any stuff, or you don't take any junk, or You're not going to listen to what your parents or what anybody tells you. Just try to just I'm here to tell you that that's not the way to go at all. You're not even going to get respect. You know who you're going to get respect from? You're going to get respect from absolutely no one. No one's going to respect you for being a tough guy, and because people don't care. Eventually, they're not going to care what you did or what you done. They'll talk about it. They'll say, "Oh man, this guy was a really good. Uh, this guy was a badass. And he was a real good fighter, or she was a real badass, or she was a good fighter." When it comes down to it, nobody cares. They don't. So just think about um, what you're getting yourself into before you do it. That's going to lead you to a path of destruction. Don't do it. Don't do it. Look the other way. Don't talk to those guys or girls who want to break the law and be labeled as a badass or a bad person or a good fighter, because all that's going to get you is, and now in these days, all that's going to get you is probably shot, because nobody's thinking about fighting anymore. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty and get grimy and mixed up and the tussling and stuff. People nowadays are just going to go to their car. They're going to ask their friends for a weapon so they could take sword. And you don't want to die. You don't want to get killed over an argument that you could have walked away from, that you could have just said, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and take this. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm, it's not worth losing your life over. It's not. So I know I jumped off subject of the Glenn Mills thing and what led me to Glenn Mills, but just know that not listening and not paying attention to your parents and counselors and your teachers, your brother, your sister, or your friends, just know that what they're trying to tell you, they love you, and they probably see a potential in you that you don't see in yourself. So I'm going to end this and probably redo it because I think I jumped off a subject just one too many times. And but maybe I won't redo it. Maybe I'll just say, hey, this is just something that I have to talk about, that I have to get out there to the young men and the young women, young boys and girls of America or all across the world. So think about what I'm saying, take heed to what I'm saying, and remember, there's always the other side of getting into disputes or arguments and hanging with your friends who are thinking about doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. And that other side is walking away. I don't about this right now. I'm just going to go home, make up an excuse, tell a lie. I got to be home at a certain time, and if I'm not, then I'll be on probation, or I'll be locked in my house and won't be able to see you guys for another 60 or 90 days. Make up something that is going to make them think that maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you are scared. Maybe you don't have that type of blood, or you don't have that moxie or grit in you to go ahead and break a window or going to somebody's house, stealing something out of a store. Just make up an excuse, or don't make up an excuse. Come from your heart. Come and say, and tell those guys, tell those young ladies that I don't think what we're about to do right now is going to benefit anything that we need to do in life later on in life. And that is going to work, paying your bills, paying your taxes, taking care of your family, and going out, having a good time instead of living in darkness. All right. So I'm going to close this out and say, be safe, everyone. I promise to get a better streaming system and give me the proper lighting that I actually need so you people can see my face and see what I'm actually saying to you or how I'm saying it, because I mean it. I mean it with everything in my heart. You don't have to be that guy. You don't have to be that girl. Be the ones that go home, do your homework, go to school, do what your teachers are telling you to do, and live your life the right way. Live your life the right way. Because if you don't, they got places for people that aren't living their life the right way. It's called juvenile detention centers. It's called prison, jail, penitentiaries. So try to avoid that, and and try to take in the heed what I'm saying to you, and videos, plenty more videos, and hope that you learn from them, and hope that you pick up something from them and apply it in your life. All right. So this is your boy TY of Stone Muscle checking out. Have a good night. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. And that's it.